Good morning, guys. It's another video at Fifi's homestead. And this year I've grown so much in containers. I've multiplied my container gardening, as you can see. I am still growing in ground. However, a lot of the things that I'm growing in containers, I would like to bring them indoors, overwinter them if I can, which I will be the sun's rising. But I'm going to take an opportunity to get a head start on my gardening going forward because I have noticed changes over the years. And these pollinators are just beautiful in my peppers. They pollinate in my cayenne pepper. As you can see, I have tons of peppers growing on the tree. But I'm just being distracted because I just walked out the door. So I'm just doing my normal everyday routine morning walk in my garden, and I decided from these containers here I'm gonna grab some potato slips because some of them I'm growing in these chicken feed bags. I just decided, you know what, it acts as a container, so I'll reuse them, put some soil, some chicken compost, and plant some potatoes in them. Gardening is coming more and more challenging every year. Every single year it's a new challenge because with the development that's going on all over, with the new buildings, with the trees being cut down and all of that, we are actually getting more critters in our garden because they have nowhere else to go. Our garden have food, it have trees, it have plants, and these are what the insects and the critters feed on. So they're gonna be in our garden. So in that sense, I don't mind sharing. I just don't want them to eat all of my food because I'm growing food for my family's survival, for our nourishment. And so even though I understand that they have to eat for survival, I don't want them eating all. But like I said, I don't mind them sharing. But what I'm going to do today is grab some potato slips. And I just showed you what I had growing in those chicken feed bags that I repurposed as a planter. But I also have some growing in these beds here in ground. And you may find they look all beat up and disheveled, but let me take you in closer because they are. The rabbits have been coming around and eating my potato slips since I planted them. So they have been really struggling a whole lot. So I planted this bed with potatoes. I planted that one here. And my garden to the front, I have a couple beds of potato growing. And this is why I choose to grow in ground and in containers even more so because the critters, it's harder for the critters, or for some reason, the containers kind of deter them from going in there. What I've noticed is that they don't actually go in the planters itself, but if this is growing out, see how this is growing off to the side? The rabbits would stand on their two hind legs and they would pluck all the leaves off. This is some new growth here, but all around here, as you can see, they have been eaten, even the ones that I have in the planters. But what I'm about to do today is gather some slips, have them started in water, and then I'm going to plant them in some soil and I'm going to bring them indoors so that I can have slips for planting next year because I'm not about to use my tubers to get slips if I can get it from the plant while it's growing. The tubers are for me to eat, for my family to eat, and for us to enjoy. And I'm also not about to be buying slips every year. So what I did this morning so far was to cut some slips off, and I did put the labels on them, and I'm going to sit them in water. I have like 7 different varieties. I'm not quite done yet. I'm on number 5 so far. And these varieties are Covington, Georgia Jet, Lilac Beauty, Sion Me or Sion My, the Carol Gold. Then I think I have the Nancy Hall somewhere in here. Where is it? Let me just make sure. There it is. The Nancy Hall is here. And then I have the Brigard growing in, let's see. Yep, Brigard growing in this bag right here. And all of these varieties, I have them growing in the bags as well as in ground. And so I'm going to save some slips so I can get it planted next year. And the reason why I'm mostly doing this is because it's become so challenging, like I said, growing your food. And there's so much more critters now, more insects, more critters that are, you know, pretty much destroying. They're eating, yes, they're surviving, but they're destroying your crop every year. And for my short season, I can only grow certain things, you know, in a short period. And so I'm making adjustments to secure my food. And because there was such a shift in growing for me, and I've noticed so many different things happening, I think it's important to make adjustments and to work with that shift and to make things possible for me to grow food, whether it's indoors, whether it's outdoors, whether it's in containers, whether I have to put barriers up like fencing and stuff like that, because these animals will eat all of your food, all of your food. If I mean, they don't know to not eat all of it, they want to survive. And so I'm going to make adjustments to make that happen. Now, another thing I'm going to be focusing on is growing a lot more root crops and crops that can be stored up for a longer period, like winter pumpkins, winter squash, that will become fully mature on the vine. And then I can cure them on my drying rack and allow them to overwinter in a cool place for months at a time until the next season, because believe it or not, I still have pumpkin. I have a few pumpkin and butternut squash uh, put away from last year. I have that are frozen. I cut them up, I blanched them, I packaged them, vacuum seal, and I still have them on the freezer, and those were all from last year. And so because I had so much left over, I didn't grow that much squash this year because I grew them in abundance last year. I grew probably about 13 different varieties. And so for me, gardening is planning, and I always plan the year before because I pay attention to what's going on and I make adjustments accordingly. So I just wanted to come on here this morning, encourage you, just give you a little reminder of what's going on. If you're not aware, then pay more attention because it's happening. It's really going down, and ain't nothing we can do to stop it. All we can do is acknowledge what's happening and take action. I hope this video brings you a little encouragement, a little positivity, no matter what's going on in your situation, what's going on in your zone. Don't be discouraged. Keep growing your food. And if you haven't started growing your food yet, it's the best reward when you get to harvest what you grow. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time right here on Fifi's Urban Homestead and Lifestyle.